Yo WWE fam, it's time for another update here on WWE News Update. Smash that subscribe button, ring the bell, and let's get into the ring of news. WrestleMania 41 was supposed to be a celebration, a coronation of resilience and legacy. Instead, it became one of the most divisive nights in recent WWE memory. CM Punk, a figure who embodies rebellion and reinvention, stood tall at the end of the night as the new WWE World Champion, but not without controversy. His victory came on the heels of Seth Rollins' sudden injury revelation, a moment that blurred the line between storyline and real consequence. Fans were left in disbelief, unsure whether they had just witnessed the triumph of perseverance or the manipulation of circumstance. The headlines didn't read, "Punk returns to the top." They asked, "At what cost?" The fallout. Across the wrestling world. In the days that followed, the reaction from fans, analysts, and wrestlers alike rippled through the industry. Social media lit up with theories and divided loyalties. Some praised Punk for surviving the chaos and proving that time hadn't dulled his edge. Others questioned the integrity of his win. Even within the locker room, whispers spread about timing, influence, and whether fate or politics had determined the outcome. Amid that storm of speculation, one question lingered. Would anyone from Punk's complicated past dare to speak out? The silence that spoke. Volumes. For nearly 2 weeks, those who had once shared locker rooms and battlefields with CM Punk remained quiet. The man himself gave interviews filled with calculated confidence, blending charm with defiance. Yet, fans sensed that somewhere out there, someone was watching all of this unfold with a very different perspective. Someone who had stood beside him when loyalty and ambition collided in a very different arena. That person was Jon Moxley, the unfiltered soul who had fought beside Punk in AEW during the most turbulent years of both their careers. A voice from the shadows. When Moxley finally appeared, it wasn't through a corporate press release or a polished studio setting. It was through a raw, self-recorded video that looked more confession than statement. The background was minimal. Bare walls, dim light, the faint hum of some unseen generator. His expression was calm but charged with emotion. "I saw what happened at WrestleMania," he began, the words deliberate, the voice low. "I saw my former brother fall, and I saw my old partner rise." It wasn't just commentary, it was reflection, perhaps even confrontation. Every syllable carried the weight of shared wars and unhealed wounds. History between warriors. The bond between CM Punk and Jon Moxley was never simple. In AEW, they represented two different philosophies. Punk, the master of words and mind games. Moxley, the embodiment of chaos and honesty. Together, they gave fans some of the most intense segments of modern wrestling, fueled by mutual respect and barely contained tension. Their interactions blurred lines between cooperation and competition. Even when the cameras stopped rolling, their rivalry felt real. Two men cut from the same cloth but stitched with entirely different intentions. When Moxley addressed Punk by his real name, Phil, in the new video, it wasn't an insult. It was a reminder. Behind the character is a man, and behind the man are choices that can't be erased. Two journeys, one mirror. Moxley and Punk have lived parallel lives in the ring. Both walked away from mainstream wrestling at different times, both returned stronger, and both fought to prove they were more than the labels attached to them. Their similarities make their differences even more compelling. Punk often represents control, the articulate strategist, the man who turns chaos into narrative. Moxley represents the opposite, the storm that refuses to be tamed. When one looks into the other, he sees what he could have been if he'd taken a different path. That's what gives Moxley's message its power. It's not just rivalry, it's recognition. The fans react. Within hours, Moxley's short video became the centerpiece of conversation across wrestling communities. Clips spread online, captions debated its meaning, and fans began theorizing about future confrontations. Some hoped for an on-screen reunion or clash, bridging the gap between WWE and AEW. Others read it as a moment of emotional honesty, a man speaking about betrayal, loyalty, and the blurred lines between art and friendship. What united them was fascination. In a landscape often built on scripts and spectacle, this moment felt unscripted. It felt real. The broader impact on wrestling beyond individual rivalries, Moxley's response represents a shift in wrestling culture itself. The lines between companies, characters, and personal truth have blurred more than ever before. Audiences crave authenticity. They want emotion that feels earned. Moxley delivered that. His message, subtle yet powerful, hinted at collaboration, at possibilities that once seemed impossible. In an era where social media drives narratives faster than weekly television, a single unpolished video can create more buzz than an entire pay-per-view. It reminded everyone that wrestling's greatest magic lies not in pyrotechnics or championship belts, but in the emotion that exists between performers who once shared the same dream and now walk separate roads. A warning or a farewell. As the dust settles, fans continue to debate the intention behind Moxley's words. Was it the beginning of a new rivalry or simply closure from an old one? His tone carried both threat and tenderness, a strange duality that defines him as a performer and as a person. Every kingdom has its cracks, he said. Maybe it wasn't just about Punk. Maybe it was about the entire system, the way success isolates, the way pride invites scrutiny. Whatever he meant, Moxley reminded the world that silence in wrestling is rarely permanent. When he chooses to speak, every word feels like the calm before another storm. The human side of rivalry. What makes this story resonate so deeply is its humanity. Strip away the lights, the belts, and the cameras, and you find two men shaped by the same unforgiving industry. Both have been heroes, villains, and rebels. Both have left and returned. Both carry scars that no storyline can fully explain. In Moxley's quiet warning and Punk's defiant victory, fans see the universal conflict between pride and vulnerability, between success and the fear of losing it all. Their shared history ensures that even when they stand on different stages, they remain part of the same narrative, a story about endurance, ego, and the search for redemption. Where it all leads. No one knows whether Moxley's words will lead to confrontation or reflection. But what's certain is that he's reignited curiosity across a fractured wrestling landscape. The idea that these two men could once again cross paths, even symbolically, captures everything fans love about the sport. Its unpredictability, its heart, its blurred line between fiction and truth. Whether this moment becomes a chapter or a spark for something greater, it already stands as proof that wrestling's most compelling stories are often told not in arenas, but in whispers, memories, and the unspoken tension between those who once shared the same dream. Final reflection. When Jon Moxley looked into that camera and called CM Punk by his real name, he wasn't just breaking silence. He was breaking illusion. It was a reminder that behind every legend lies a human being still figuring things out, still navigating loyalty, regret, and ambition. For fans, it was a glimpse behind the curtain. For wrestling itself, it was a reminder of why people still care. Because at its best, wrestling isn't just about who wins the gold. It's about what those victories reveal. And as both men continue their journeys, one thing is certain. The story isn't finished. It's only changing shape, waiting for the next time the world falls silent and someone decides to speak again.